How's it going, guys? We are going to be doing a special one-off occasion. I haven't done this one before, but it's going to be a session 0 for our new vampire game, A War Among Brothers. It's going to be, session 0 specifically is going to be on YouTube, not going to be on anything else. You'll know that since you'll be watching it on YouTube right now. We're going to basically just do a character intro and general feel for how the game is going to play for all the players, and get them situated. Some of them are still fairly new to Vampire, some of them are returning experienced players, and some of them are why I don't have any hair, so, you know, good times.
Oops.
Rude.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you all, as a wonderful group, find yourselves all unfortunately stricken with a horrible sickness. The methods in which you came about are only known to yourselves and those you may have given that knowledge to. You've all gathered to a town called Sherfield. It's a small, budding village nestled between two mountains in the center of the valley. It's said to be a utopia. Many gather there in the hopes of building a new life, and rumor has it that you could even cure sicknesses that others have no way of curing. You've all chosen to pursue these rumors of this village in the hopes that you can find your own salvation and perhaps even start a new life. It's been a few weeks and you've all been there. You've all become acquainted for the most part. You've all been working together and talking. The one thing that you've all been able to figure out is that this place is very unusual. Everyone seems to just work together. Everyone's incredibly supportive. It's not something that most of you are used to for the most part, except for in very tiny knit communities. If any of you are from a smaller village, then you'd more associate with that than perhaps a larger place like London or York or other places that have much higher populations where you don't know every face. The main thing that breaks this quaint little story into a tragedy, though, is all of you as mortals became stricken with a plague that brought you here. So that doesn't quite make it the perfect utopia, but it's close. One faithful night, after several weeks of being here, you'd been given the promise that you would indeed be cured and saved, that there was a way to help you, and that preparations were already underway and had been for a couple weeks. You'd been here almost a month now, and it's a heartwarming idea that strangers, and that's essentially what you are, to this community could receive such help. However, on the night that you were all gathered to receive this aid and assistance and cure, something seemed to happen, and it's not clear what. All you know is that the last thing you remember is blood, screams, and death. And then nothing. Blackness. Void. It's with that in mind that we start this story at night, of course. It'd be a bad time if it was during the day. But with that in mind, you all begin to stir. And for some reason, you find yourselves in the soil. It's hard to say what caused your turn of events to put you in the ground, but you're definitely in some very wet soil. So, from each of you, I'm going to need a very simple strength roll. Difficulty is standard 6. Starting out strong.
Of course.
Very strong. Okay. Uh-huh. So, it looks like we're still waiting on one.
Oh, also, I guess technically.
There's that final one.
Nope, -2.
Well, the first individuals to break through the soil are Scotty and Valentinen. Your hands break through along with Reeve. You've all become associated with each other fairly well, but you quickly dig yourselves out, and you all make eye contact and feel an initial rush, as well as confusion, just general anxiety at the situation. How did you enter the ground? Why are you here? And that's when it hits you. You all sense and smell blood, clear, just as though it was sitting directly below your lips. And that's when you realize that it's a dark, stormy night. Rain is just covering everything. But in the intermittent flashes of light, you see hundreds of bodies in full armor. It looks like a battle had happened here. It's hard to say what else can be drawn from this, but that much is clear. You're surrounded in a field of bodies. For those who did not break out, you climb out shortly thereafter. 3 individuals who got out first are welcome to assist the others if they would like to.
Of course.
Okay, so everyone eventually breaks through the ground. At this point, you all smell the blood, and you feel something stir inside of you suddenly, almost in unison. I will need a self-control check from every single one of you. It will be a difficulty of 9.
I almost forgot how to roll.
I forgot to write. But yeah.
Ooh.
Wow, everyone's not really doing well.
So,
I can't believe I got one.
Right?
Reeve, you're the only one who manages to control the beast within yourself. This creature that calls out to you, screaming, "Blood, give me." You're the only one who manages to keep it in check. Just barely, but you manage. The rest of you immediately leap towards the nearest body and begin to just devour and feast. Reeve, you're reviled by what you see. Your fellow villagers just desecrating corpses and eating them? But there's a part of you that wants to join in as well. The call to bite and drink blood seems to be pounding in your head, demanding that you do so. And you feel almost a pain in your stomach that begs to be filled with the blood of these dead. It is at this point I will let you all take the reins.
Shall we begin with an introduction?
Sure.
What is our current state right now?
Your current state is, for the most part, you're all at this point nude. There's no clothing left on any of you that has managed to survive however long you were underground. You're completely soaked and surrounded by a field of corpses.
Yeah. At this point, Ulfr is just a prodigiously tall, just ludicrously tall by any metric, ripping into the whatever meat is left on the corpse he pounced on, looking around, dazzled, standing back to his feet, his eyes just completely pitch black, searching for some sort of meaning. He settles on Valentine, looks at him quizzically. Ulfr is easily 2 feet taller, probably, than most people. Valentine, what you got? What do you look like?
Valentine stands also extremely tall. Not as tall as Ulfr, his good friend, but he's very tall, very, very slender. Hair, black, his eyes, pitch black as well, and it seems that the shadows itself around him is moving around. He's still feasting upon one of these bodies, trying to quench this thirst. After he sees Ulfr look in his direction, he hops off the body and just looks around the area in general, confused, dazed, seeing where him and his comrades are at this point.
Reeve turns to look at his companions, naked as the day they were born, yet he feels no shame or even disgust at what he would have perceived previously. Looking at the group, he feels the compulsion to drink once more from the bodies below and begins to wander, almost as if he wants to have some form of privacy while he feeds.
What does he look like?
Likely not unnaturally tall or greatly tall like the two before him. He is perhaps slightly tall for the day and age. He stands at 1.86 meters or 6 feet and 1. He weighs about 84 kilograms, or he used to. The emptiness feels stronger. Dark hair, but muddied skin prevent him from really giving a good description of his skin tone besides pale. A sparse beard on his face, more than he could ever grow, as he wanders a bit away before crouching near a corpse. Tawny eyes, like mulled honey.
Scotty, when she's finally done draining the corpse in front of her, she kind of stands up. She's got this very long red hair, medium build, as she's been training to be pretty much an axe maiden. She's average height, nothing too special, so 5'2", 5'3". Nothing else is really special about her other than her pale skin. And maybe the red hair. Red hair can be special depending on where you're from.
Ulfr, who is also pale of skin, is dark of hair. Most of his skin is covered in what looks like ritual scarring, and it is storming outside, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a heavy rain. It's a full thunderstorm. The storm is relentless in this area, and it doesn't help that you find yourselves in what looks like in the occasional flashes of the thunder and lightning that are scattering the area. Is this still the same area?
When lightning strikes, what does it show? Is it
you see the same two mountains that you have seen before. You recognize them instantly. You'd spent a month here. It all stands perfectly the same, but you don't see the village, which is weird because where you're standing is not far from where it should be. It should basically be almost on top of it, but all you see are trees. Well, that and the corpses.
What is happening, little brother? What is this?
Val looks around, still confused. I do not know. Is this
Sorry?
I was about to say, is this still the same place we were?
I think so. I can hardly recognize it.
A new flash of lightning strikes in the sky, lighting up the area, this time for a good couple of seconds. I'd like everyone, except for Ulfr, to give me perception. Simple alertness and perception roll. Definitely is going to be 7, though. It is still fairly hard to see with everything going on.
There's something wrong about Ulfr's voice. Something just strange sounding.
Zach, because I have the Merrick Dark Sight, would that lower my difficulty?
Yes. You'd have a standard 6.
Cool. Wow. Okay. Oh, that's why. Yeah, that's fine. Scotty is more interested in the bodies and a weapon to be picked up, apparently.
I have 2 successes according... No, I don't. I don't have the ability at 3. Never mind.
Only one person notices. Val. You notice that Ulfr's face is horribly scarred. Chunks of flesh that are hanging loose and just mangled would explain the weird speech patterns. But more oddly is the blood that's on his face from the horrible act that you'd all committed, save Reeve, is not the thing that's causing like any of this to happen. There's no correlation. None of it makes sense. And it doesn't look like it's causing him any pain or discomfort. It's mild difficulty in talking, but that seems to be it.
Val will go over to Uther. In his mortal life, Val wasn't as tall as he was. He was around 5'11", so he's not used to being somewhat of height of Uther. Still, he is taller. He goes over, somewhat confused how he grew a foot, maybe even more.
What happened to you?
I do not know what happened to you, my friend.
What? Ulfa takes a second to realize, notices the meat flaps swaying in the wind, touches his hand to his face, and just glowers this terrifying glare with just pitch black eyes. I don't know. He turns to the other two. Did you do this? Is this your fault? Some sort of sorcery?
Val would just not even move his head, just look in their general direction when he asked that.
It's at this
Go ahead,
moment, I'm gonna need you all to make one more perception roll.
All of us?
All of you.
I don't see. I want that weapon.
So, the only one who does not notice is Scotty. The rest of you notice there's two men who aren't among the dead. They're hunched over, rummaging through, clearly taking what they can from these corpses.
Ooh.
They're right just a few paces off from Reeve. Their appearance is made clear by another strike of lightning.
Are there any spears near me? Or bow, arrows,
Yeah,
sword?
you name a weapon, it almost certainly is right by you, within reason.
Seeing those two hunched over and looting the bodies and such, are they wearing like anything in the...
It's hard to tell. You can see cloaks around them. That's what you can make out. Reeve, I need a self-control check from you. It is a difficulty of 9. Being so close to them, even amongst the smell of the less than fresh blood on the ground from all these men, you can smell the blood on these two crystal clear. Sweet, almost. And in a blinding rage, you rush forward and leap onto the back of one and immediately bite into his throat. And within seconds, drain him dry. His partner, startled, screams and begins to run.
Oh yeah. Grab the spear, chuck it at him.
Okay,
Keep him alive. I say when he throws it.
make that roll. It's
I don't know if I'm gonna hit him this time because I don't know how to use my blood yet.
it's gonna be a difficulty of 7 on this attack roll. Not just from the darkness, even with your dark sight, but
Rain.
also because of the rain. Yeah, the rain. The rain, the wind.
I was about to say, is it windy? Like,
It's not super windy. It's not, the rain's not coming down sideways, so it's not like a hurricane's hitting you, but it is a combination of multiple things that's making it harder.
Is there any way I can actually manifest my discipline? Because it would kind of work perfectly with this, with the spirit's aid, with Spiritus 1. How the weapon might help me attack this man.
Sure.
I guess I only get one. So, and add one modifier.
Glancing side-eyed at Valentine. We need him.
yes, we do.
I'll
I
get
hit
him.
So, you manage to hit him, and it does only nick him. It hits him in the back of the calf. He stumbles, falls into the mud amongst the corpses, and begins to crawl and panic and hop and try to just get away.
Oh, I run at him. Try to.
Oh, you make it to him in seconds. Takes you no time
I
at all.
guess not.
Keep him alive as, I'm walking towards him. Still.
Yeah, there's nothing more disorienting than, a group of naked people ambushing you in a field of corpses.
Nope. All right. I'll hold him down.
Okay.
I'll just put my naked foot right onto his back, grab that spear, kind of twist it to make sure he stops moving.
Oh, it didn't stay in him. It just nicked him in the back of the calf and was enough of it's cut some flesh and deep, but it's not enough that it's like a spear dangling out of his calf. That would be
Amazing.
This guy, as he's down on the ground with his foot, Scotty's foot on him, he sees a very tall person just walk over.
Yeah.
I'll go over and I will start kneeling down towards him, pitch black eyes, just looking straight at him. Where are we?
The man panics. He's like, You're You're in Derby.
How about the city that was here?
What are you talking about? There isn't one.
Where is Sheffield? Where? Just glowering, appearing in a flash of lightning.
He's like, there isn't one. There is no town here. What are you talking about? Who are
Where's
you?
the town that said they had the cure?
I don't know what you're talking about. There's nothing here but trees. There's a forest.
Scotty
There hasn't
just
been
kinda
anything
looked
here
up
for
at
hundreds of
the-
years.
He's brain addled.
Hundreds of years, you say? What's the year?
It's the year of our Lord 1600.
Has lost his senses. He's worthless to us. Kill him.
No, I can be of use.
I won't carry him, little brother.
Explain how you would be of use.
I can get you clothes.
I look at the field of dead people all around.
Right?
I just don't say anything as I just look back at them after looking at all the dead people here.
I can get you clothes that fit.
Lol.
Where are you from?
I'm from Wakefield.
Wakefield. Was there a Wakefield during their time?
Yeah. There was.
Okay. And I'm guessing York was still, around that time as well?
Yeah.
In
Well-
York. Well,
No. Tentatively, we'll go with no.
okay.
I could be wrong on that one.
Who are these men? Ulfr says, looking around.
These men, they're knights for the nobles. I don't know who they are. I'd heard there was a battle in the last day, and I figured it was a good. He looks back at Reeve, currently still snacking on his companion. Thought it would be a good place to get some equipment to sell for food.
You desecrate their corpses.
They don't need it. We need to eat. We're starving.
You condemn these men to hell.
The nobles condemned them to hell, sir, by making them fight in useless wars.
Valentine would just smile and just laugh at that, being from a noble house.
Also, yes, York did exist still. But you
Okay.
are. Had to think, sorry.
I look around the battlefield to see if there are any kind of crests or banners or anything like
Coat
that.
of arms, yeah. You see two, and it is thankfully one of the few things that doesn't really change a ton, and when they do and merge, the signs of previous ones still linger, and it's something that you can kind of still figure out. Do you have any skills in heraldry?
In what?
Heraldry. Basically knowing noble houses and all that.
Yeah, it's the
No.
ability to. It's like the equivalent of like science and knowing like the periodic table of elements. You know which of these heralds and coat of arms belong to whom.
Oh, no.
Intrigue. Does that apply? Or I don't know why. Is it something he's trying to do? Sorry, I didn't catch that.
I was just trying to look at the crest, or sorry, coat of arms in this case, and see who was doing what, or if there was anything I kind of recognize, whatever was.
You recognize that there are specifically. Let me pull it up here. You notice that one of them is it's a coat of arms that belongs to the nobles that live in Sandal Castle. Another belongs in Cheshire to Beeston Castle. And you notice a third set of coat of arms, but you're not familiar with them. Though it is notable that all of the coat of arms that you see aren't exactly what you've seen before from knights that you've encountered before. They're very, very close though.
Okay. I'll take those mental notes and continue with the scene, I guess.
You said the year was 1600.
Yes. It's January 4th.
You can't be serious. You believe him?
Where's the closest village here?
The closest village, it's I think it would be, if you're going west, then it's Manchester.
I look at everyone when he says Manchester. That's all right.
Sorry, you look at everyone and what?
If they want to basically head to the closest village of Manchester.
Did he point us in that direction?
He said west.
Oh.
Yeah, he points. He even points to due west. So for those of you who are skilled in survival and would like to double check his accuracy, you are welcome to. It's gonna be a difficulty of 7.
What skills?
Survival.
What attribute? Yeah, what attribute?
Perception or intelligence, either's fine.
Difficulty 6, right?
7.
Yeah.
Said that.
Oh,
7.
One success. One success.
Yeah, for those of you who made it, you know he's pointing the correct direction. It's up through the valley, in between the two mountains, and the valley takes you higher in elevation, up and through. And if you keep going that direction, you will reach Manchester.
Take us to Manchester. I'll look at him.
He nods and he begins to tear off a part of his shirt and just wraps it around his leg. And he gets up and he just starts moving. He grabs a stick and he just starts to hobble west.
I would
As we walk through this field, I'm gonna, if anything of notice that I can wear, I'll just pick it up and kind of put it on as we go.
There's chainmail, there's swords, there's spears, shields.
How about what do you call them? They're not coats. What do they call them during this
Cloaks?
time? Yeah, cloaks. Thank you. Jesus.
Cloak? Yeah, there's cloaks. Yeah.
Anything that'll fit a considerably tall person?
There was one large man. They called him the Colossus.
Colossus.
He was definitely not called the Mountain. Please
Nope.
don't say it's Game of Thrones.
I was going to do that, but I decided not to.
There, you can find, I would say, a cloak of respectably large size. However, it still doesn't quite cover all of you.
Yeah, I'll take like a few of those.
Just start wrapping them around you, yeah?
Yeah, just tie them with rope.
Yeah, you do what you can.
As far as I'm concerned, this is still the 13th century. That guy's nuts. He's nuts.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Valentine would just stand up from his crouch position and get some clothes on, and then or whatever can fit him. Go to Ufer and is like, who knows if he's delusional or not? Let's ask other people.
The only question is, have you grown, little brother, or did I shrink?
I compare myself to, the rest of them, to everyone else. It seems I have grown. I also feel cold. Might just be the rain, though.
Chilled to the bone, and my face is flapping in the wind.
Yes, you don't quite look as lovely as you used to.
Did you get what you needed, Reeve, from the poor soul?
I don't really understand what's happening with us, but it seems I just lasted a little longer before I felt the same urge.
You ate him.
And you ate corpses. And now we're following a man that we stabbed. We're less peaceful now, but I was always a hunter. I'll make do.
Bears noting that there's nothing about Ulfr Raffenkin's demeanor that ever indicated he wouldn't eat just about anything, even before he got turned into monster.
Oh yeah, you just look a little more monstrous on the outside than you did on the inside now.
Even trees weren't sure if they were safe around him.
Lol.
Yeah.
Arms. Gather some arms as well, and do be careful gathering something with a mark on them.
Way ahead of you, Reeve says as he walks by in the cloak of the man he just killed. All right, here's a sword, here's a dagger.
Means that he points. Ulfr points at some sigil, identifying that as equipment from the house of whatever.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to need signs.
The weapons, for the most part, don't have any noticeable arms on them. A lot of the armor, from a number of what you can tell are the more important knights, definitely has coat of arms stamped on them. But for the most part, the weapons don't seem to.
I'll grab something like chainmail and things like that. Things that you wouldn't really be able to put a coat of arms on. And
Yeah,
any
there's
clothes outfit.
Plenty of chainmail in your size.
It looks to others who are observing him that Reeves has basically gone for the same light mail or gambeson.
Is there like a mace or anything laying about?
Yeah. Safe to
Yeah,
say
grabbing an axe as well.
safe to say you could probably find one of those too.
And I'll probably grab like a dagger and it has like a little holster or something.
Yeah. You can easily find like a dagger or a dirk that's got a scabbard with it. It's not a tall order. You all make your way west.
We might be cursed.
In notes, I wrote what I would have picked up. So if anyone, I would do that for specification. Make sure no one's grabbing anything extra. Like, oh, I would have picked that up.
I'm writing down in my notes as well exactly what I was looking for, and I did the same at DM. So now it's just bookkeeping.
Ulfar, is quietly talking to Val and points at Skadi. She could have done it. Cider Connor, I wouldn't be surprised. Which?
I'd be more surprised if she did do it.
Not talking to you.
Let's not jump the gun just yet. Jump the. Yeah.
Jump the what?
That's all I said. Wait, hold up here.
Let's not jump the bolt, maybe.
Let's not put the
Let's not
horse
point,
before the
let's
cart,
not point.
or put the cart
Not
before the
point
horse.
fingers just yet. Let's figure out what's happening.
God damn! I
See.
didn't. I told you no true brouhaha.
Let's see if we can figure out what happened to you and me.
Fine. I'm hungry.
Scotty just kind of points to the field of people. Hey, right there. Right there. Enjoy.
From what we can tell, Zach, while walking through the battlefield, and all that, is there like a sign of who we can tell won this battle?
It's hard to tell at this point. You do see the signs of a retreat being made, but it's hard to say who was in what direction. Combined with the storm that's going on and the fact that it's at night and so hard to see, and it's been about almost a day since the battle occurred, it's really hard to say what's actually transpired here.
Also, you said there was a third party here as well, right?
Yes.
I would grab the random person and I'd be like, whose sign is this?
He looks and he's like, I'm not familiar. It might be mercenaries.
Do better.
Wow.
I gesture him forward again, leading the way to Manchester. I would take out the dagger and rip the sign off of whatever I can, whatever I see.
Mm-hmm.
And just taking that call of arms with me. See what people tell.
On the off chance that he can, Reeve is going to try and see if he can find a coin purse or anything on any of the bodies.
You can make a roll for it, yeah.
Investigation, perception, or
Investigation and perception, yeah.
you can learn a lot from coin, especially if it's changed.
Oh, that's very true. If you make a point of that, Scotty might look for more.
What difficulty?
It'd be a 6. It's a corpse. It's not moving or anything else like that. It's hard to see, but I mean, a coin purse is going to be large enough to see, or at least
4.
feel.
How about 3?
Yeah, you're both able to. Reeve, you succeed, and you're able to find a handful of coins. Yeah.
Do I recognize them? What
You
they look
don't.
like? I will bring it to the group's attention. I don't mean to nitpick at anyone's thoughts on the matter, but does anybody recognize these?
Scotty looks at the coin. I'm guessing I don't recognize it either.
No.
I have no idea where this comes from, and I kind of pass it on to the group.
That's a grunt of, don't get away from me, from Ulfar.
I look to our. Is it a hostage? Is it a guide?
Let's just go with companion for now.
Companion.
Or pet, whichever one you want to say.
What's your name? He just looks at him and says, "What's your name?" What do you call yourself?
He just kind of stumbled. He's like, my name is Michael.
All right, Michael. All right, Michael.
It's a good name. We should let him live.
As I fish out another coin from the coin purse, how much are these worth? Don't give me numbers. Give me objects. What can I buy with this?
He points to one of the coins and says, that can get you some wine. He points to and gestures to motioning 2 of them in your hand with 2 fingers. He's like, that could get you about 12 eggs, from a chicken, perhaps even a goose.
One of the two or both of the two would be required for that.
Both of them.
All right. So I'm slowly sorting through what the prices of the coins are when he's describing them. The one that everybody's passing around, because I probably would have pulled out the biggest, shiniest one.
So the largest one that you pull out, that one he looks at it and he's like, that could get you a good bit. That one could get you perhaps even, if you found the right buyer, a whole cow.
A whole cow.
So cross-referencing to what I could have sold my hunt for in the past, these are just, how do I write this? So what are they called?
He points to the smaller ones and tells you those are pennies. And he points a slightly larger one that is silver. He goes, that's a shilling. There's one more, but it doesn't seem to be amongst his effects. That would be the pound. I can't imagine that he would have that on him. That's quite a lot of money.
So in total, now here comes the bookkeeping. How many pennies and shillings do I have?
You find 8 pennies and 1 shilling.
That's a big one. Okay. And the one that would buy a cow, is that something different from the one that could pay for wine?
Yes. When he motioned to paying for wine, he had motioned to the pennies.
2 of the pennies were worth wine or eggs.
Well,
And the shilling was
when
worth...
he pointed at the coin, he pointed at 1 penny for wine. 2 when he had motioned to, and made a comment about buying like 12 eggs or a chicken or a goose.
And then the shilling would be possibly a cow.
Yeah, depending. Yeah.
Huh. All of these sound like coinage I've never used. Unless there were coins back in the day that were named these things. But
No, there were not.
I put the coins back in the purse and hang it up and hide it amongst my own person in case we need it.
After hearing that conversation, Val was continuing just walking forward again.
Oh, I hope we didn't stop. I never told the man to stop.
I'm walking forward towards Uther.
Okay, so you catch up to Uther, who's started to pace on ahead.
What is it, little brother?
Just keeping you company.
Not getting warm.
Not at all. In fact, I feel colder.
I hate it. How far did he say the village was?
I don't believe he said a distance. He just said
He
west.
did not.
Should just kill him.
I look back at him, at probably him, and speaking to Reven, Scotty, and
There's something else, though.
I look back over at Uther.
You feel sick?
Once he says that, I like just think in my head for a bit. I'm like, I don't feel sick. Hungry.
Neither do I.
What's the disease that had us? Was there any like signs of it like on our bodies during the time that?
Yes, there were black pock marks along your forearms and upper arms. Usually it was said that if it had made it to your chest and your neck, at that point you were dead. There was no hope. You weren't going to make it, and wouldn't probably see the end of the season that you had more or less come down with it. It's a very slow wasting disease.
I look at my arm and now notice that I'm pretty extremely pale as well.
You look like you've been whitewashed.
I don't understand. Skin was sun-touched for quite some time. My entire life, should I say.
Ulfr narrows his eyes and looks back, especially at the woman.
Let's see if he's telling the truth about his date. I don't know how. We've skipped forward 400 years?
This is a trick. It has to be.
If it's a trick, we kill him.
Is there anything in Ulfr's religion or something he might know that might explain something like this?
No, Nothing really comes to mind.
Then he just shrugs and continues walking.
The concept of leaping forward through time is not something that's really touched upon in any of the stories of the gods. There's stories of illusions and trickery, of course, but they're usually much more subtle and nuanced, and usually closer to some game of godly politicking and pulling one over on one's enemies, not so much just actual time travel.
Why bury us? I don't understand that part. It's maddening.
Yes. I turn back towards Michael. That was his name. I look back at Michael, and how far out are we?
So it's about 30 miles.
Let's speed up.
Side note, I'm going to use miles for measurement distances, because yeah.
Let us speed up. Tired of the rain.
I couldn't visit one of the camps. Be the same thing, but closer.
I look back towards him when Uther says this.
Armies. There were 3 of them. They didn't just disappear. Have to be nearby.
You're asking him where the camps are?
I'm not. Just turning to glare at him, volunteering that information from him.
I'm not telling you to. I'm just suggesting you should.
Say it.
The small framed man, well, small compared to you at least, he makes a mention that the Sandal Castle's regiment is not far from here. It would mean a little bit of backtracking and going up over the mountain itself, but you could cut straight through if you wished, or you could go around the mountain.
How long?
It would take about, I would say, 3 hours in these current conditions. And he looks up at the sky.
What do you want to do, Val?
You
The
said you're
village or
from,
the fortress?
you said you're close to. You're from Wakefield, correct?
Yes, I am.
And I'm guessing the people from Sentinel Castle are your people.
Well, I don't quite call it home anymore, but I guess yes.
And I just gesture towards the mountain, towards Castle, or wherever he wants to lead us towards your.
Yeah. So you're asking him to lead that direction?
Yep.
Okay.
It is his
So
people,
he-
after all, right?
Makes a course adjustment. You're still dead into the valley of the 2 mountains. So it wasn't that much of a change in direction. You know, just 90 degrees, no big deal. He starts heading directly up the side. Thankfully, these aren't sheer-faced cliffs, so you can go up and over them. So it's
Once we're like
reasonable.
up on the mountain, I would like to look back towards where the village is supposed to be.
Mhm.
You know, still trying to see if there is something there, but all I see is trees, right?
from your vantage point now. Give me a perception check.
2.
Okay. Val, you notice there's definitely signs of a village here. You can, from this height, a couple 100 feet up on the side, you can see the outcroppings of like where walls would have been, where trees have grown in different patches and different lengths of time. You can kind of just make out where you're like, okay, I can see where like, yeah, that's where the walls would have been, and that's like where the main road path would have been, that kind of thing. But you don't see any standing structures. You guess that if it really has been 400 years, then they're all made of wood, and with no upkeep, it could have easily deteriorated.
I point this out to people who were in that village before, saying that's where their walls were.
Things are not looking good. Has anyone... I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Has anybody noticed a stark lack of animals since we've, well, woke up?
It's storming, genius.
We also came from a battlefield where there's lots of free food, where scavengers would go if they had the chance.
In the middle of a thunderstorm?
It's
Hunters would
cold.
know that animals wouldn't probably, for the most part, be coming out in a very severe thunderstorm like this. For the most part, they would probably stay hidden until it passes and then come out to scavenge.
All right, then.
I go over to Michael and you said there's hasn't been a village here since a few hundred years.
Yes, sir. It's been hundreds of years at this point. I know of there was once a small village here, but I don't know anything else. It's something that my family told me about. It's something that most people in this area know about.
What happened?
Well, it was said that the town was pillaged. Bandits or some mercenaries. I don't know. You ask anyone, most people have different tales to be told about the events. It's one of those things that most people don't know. And one day, we just knew that everything was gone there. Just corpses everywhere, and they just dug graves and buried them there. Well, they did say there were no survivors. It was quite gruesome.
Ulfr frowns and glares at the man who must be lying.
Now we are on the hill, you know.
Can't trust them short
Sparta
people.
kick. Does sound nice. Bao doesn't say anything, just continues looking at where the village once was, and then continues walking towards where he's taking us.
I'll need something to tell them at the fortress.
What can we tell them?
The man Michael looks at you all and he's like, I know of a place that you can stay without having to go directly into the castle. Wakefield itself is on the outer edges of the castle proper, and it's probably a safer bet. He looks at most of you who are not clothed very well at all.
Glaring at him for daring to suggest something like this, as if he could be trusted. Then looking back at Val. What do you want to do?
Continue leading us.
He nods and he just continues. You guys eventually make it up over, and just over the cusp of the edge of the mountain, you can see clearly. The man wasn't lying. There is a clear encampment going on. You can see small wisps of light here and there. There's a small field of them. From what you can gather from this distance, it's probably a bunch of lights that are inside of tents and things like that.
Do you have any more questions, Val?
Thousands of questions right now.
For him?
For everything. Like what happened? Do you remember what happened during that last night?
I remember blood.
And then he says that, and I look over at Scotty and Reeve. Do you?
No. To be honest, I barely remember anything.
And you, Scotty?
No, nothing at all.
Why? What do you remember?
Same thing that you remember. Blood. Remember, you said we were attacked that night, correct? Is that?
Yes. You remember the screams of your fellow villagers, and you remember a feral-like appearance, a face, but hard to pinpoint exactly what that means to you. Then you just remember seeing off in the distance the lights of homes being burned and people being murdered in the streets.
I remember screaming, burnings, and a beast.
Why? You think someone did this to us then? And buried us in the field?
Could be a thing, but still doesn't explain why we are here. Possibly 400 years
Impossible. Let's keep walking.
So, you all continue to walk, and eventually you make it down to the other side of the mountain, leveling out on the open fields interspersed with small patches of trees. Up on a further hill ahead is the encampment that you spotted before.
When we enter this area, I lean forward because extremely tall and just say to Michael, "What do you do around here?"
I'm
Outside of pillaging dead bodies.
just a thief, nothing more.
Val just stands up and just walks past him.
Well, where to, thief?
Well, do you all want... you can't possibly want to go to the encampment, right?
Well, they might. I don't really think it's a good idea, but we don't really.
A coward, too.
Like I said, I know of an old abandoned shed that you could all hide in for now, at least. And I guess one of you could come with me to ensure that I don't betray you. I swear that I won't. Please don't kill me. I can earn my keep.
Val just snickers a bit when he says that.
I'm thinking Oxford.
How long have we been walking, Rick?
At this point, you've been walking for about 2 hours.
Scotty kind of looks up in the sky and wants to see what time it is.
All right, give me a perception and survival roll. We had a difficulty of 7 with the sky in the condition that is.
Is it possible for no roll with the merit I have?
Do you have time? Is that the merit you took, time sense? Or celestial
Yep.
attunement?
Celestial Attunement, because it was a cooler name. AKA Tempors.
Okay, yeah. I want to check the wording of it because it was like, oh, you check the stars to tell, or the, and I'm like, no, can't see them stars. You estimate that it's close to roughly about 11 p.m.
Okay.
Ulfer looks at Val expectantly.
Val just gives him a slight nod.
Think it'll work.
Only way to find out.
Gonna need blood.
The man just looks.
I slowly look at the man.
Ooh.
And Ulfer, just as we walk over the last cliff, just
Whoops.
pushes him off.
He just plummets to his death.
Reeves gives a shrug. He's like, "What?" There goes the one person who seemed to know where he was going.
Gonna need the knife too.
He hits the ground with a sickening crack. Ooh. That's just barely audible amidst the storm. And you notice that he's still moving.
Ulfer grabs the
crawling.
dagger from
I take it out.
Val and takes the long way around down the cliff to the man who's crawling away. And
You
just
eventually
sits on
make it
him.
down. He begs, he pleads. Please don't kill me. I can be of use.
Then Ulfa grabs a rock and begins to whittle on it, dipping into the poor bastard's back. And once he's done, he's just presumably Val catches up eventually. Yeah, he's just whittling on a rock right now.
I mean, Reeves is still following along. You're the only ones I know in the same situation.
The man Michael cries out, begging to be spared. Please, find your humanity. Spare me.
Jesus!
When he says this, I look straight into him, and I was like, silence.
Did you see that?
No.
No. This is so high.
Hey, you finally rolled something.
Wow.
But yes, I just look at the man, just straight into his eyes. I'm like, silence.
Then Ulfr just throws a small rock at Val, then another, then another, then another. Made a few just in case.
Toss them out like candy.
Yeah, this is So how much blood do I have right now?
I'd say you got the full 10. You've all gorged on several corpses each.
But
It's all
13 close,
horribly
right?
disgusting food. Yeah, 13, sorry. It's horribly disgusting, but it does the job.
This doesn't feel right. Something's wrong. Ulfr, looking paler than before, looks at Val, concerned. This took several minutes, by the way.
And the whole time Michael is pleading.
No, I'm just, as I said, Val would just looked at him, just said silence.
Oh, he's not silent. He's still mouthing the words, "Please don't kill me. Please don't kill me."
Something's wrong. Ulfr stands up and just leaves the guy behind.
How much in pain is he? Is that
He looks like he's in a lot of pain. Without doing a full examination, though, you're not quite sure whether he's going to die from like internal bleeding or if he's just like broken legs or what. He didn't fall from a super high up point, but he fell pretty precariously.
he said broken leg? Any of his bones sticking out?
No.
Okay.
Does anything look weird?
Anything out of place?
Any fingers out of his head? His one arm is disjointed and bent the wrong direction.
Ooh, gotta get that looked at.
Yeah, that's gonna hurt in the morning.
I look at Valentine, or is that the right person? Cross's character?
Yeah.
Yes.
Val, yeah.
Is your brother always so mercurial? He seemed really up to throwing a man off a cliff a second ago, and now he's just walking away.
Everything is out of the loop right now. Val does just still looking at poor Michael on the ground when he says this.
The man has pleading eyes, begging to be spared.
Is he gonna make it?
I'm no doctor. But
Yeah, I'm more used to putting the pointy thing into living things, not healing them with the pointy thing.
yes. If he lives,
Right.
he lives. Then he is destined to live, I'll say. As Val just gets up from crouch position, looks at Michael again. I'm like, as I said, you live, you live. And then Michael just walks off towards Ulfr.
Reeve looks at Scotty. He's just like, "You? Anything? Yeah? No?"
Scotty just goes, it does not matter what really happens to him. I would say this, though, if he's able to crawl to the camp, I might be willing to help him.
If he could crawl the right way.
Let's see how much his life he truly cares about.
Val would reach Ulfr and be like, what did you mean? It isn't right.
It doesn't feel right. Not like it used to. I feel less, but somehow more. It's wrong.
Guess I would make it hard to explain.
It's different. The power's changed. I don't know why.
Let's get to this camp.
I mean, how do you describe spending a blood point?
Instead of willpower?
Yeah.
So a rush of blood?
Val is, a little confused. Always has been with her stuff, but, respects you doing all that, but he probably could not explain in words how. Did the other two leave Michael back there as well?
I'm kind of just standing over the man while he's pleading at me. Not sure if I should follow you guys when 1 second you throw a man off cliffs, other second you're leaving him to crawl his way to society. I'm just a little conflicted,
I mean, what is your own rating at for humanity?
I'm willing to kill people. I'm just not sure I'm willing to kill people casually or just leave someone to die like that. I got 4 or 5. 4.
In fairness, I didn't kill the man.
Nope.
Yeah,
He
it's-
just took a little tumble.
yeah,
Right.
it's a passion violation or plan violation.
Ulfer just tripped, and his hands went on him, and he pushed him.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm pretty sure I heard the whole, you know what, and then push. But what about you, Scotty? What are you doing?
You know what? I'll make it interesting. So, Scotty would walk up to Michael, and he just kind of looks at him, dead in the eyes, and goes, "Do you want to live?"
Just keeps repeating, please don't kill me.
"Oh, I won't kill you. As long as you prove that you want to live." And he kind of just points in the direction of the camp. Or, sorry, I. So she, damn it, I gotta get used to that. She points to the direction of the camp, and I go, "I shall follow behind you if you do not stop in making your way there. I will help you live."
So you're going to have him crawl to the camp, and you're going
Yep.
to follow him.
Yep.
I don't think the rest of the group's going to wait for you, though.
That's okay.
I mean, Reeve just looks at this, feels like somehow it's more sadistic, and then just starts following Fallon over it. Somehow this is worse. And then he walks off.
The man tries to crawl, but he doesn't make it more than a handful of feet before he just collapses.
I take out my bow, point it right into his skull, and let it loose.
Poor Michael.
I don't know why. I don't know why.
Call me.
That's what he did.
Give me a conscience roll.
How about a 10?
You feel nothing.
It is the hunter's way to leave nothing in pain. And so, I kill him, since he cannot make his destination. And I move on.
Out
Okay.
of character, were you monologuing back there?
I have no idea. Yes, you know what? Sure.
Like everybody else moved on, and I just
All right.
Kind of go on the side, close his eyes to make sure he rests in peace. Unfortunately, I can't use every part of his body to, make sure it's put to use. But unfortunately, these are the times.
Hey, damn, he might have lived. So I'm assuming then you catch up with the rest of them?
Absolutely, yeah. I'll run at moderate speed.
All right, you catch up. So, where are you guys headed?
Front gate, presumably.
Nice.
So you're gonna go past the camp?
I'm sorry?
Are you going to the camp, or are you going to the castle, or are you going to Wakefield? Where are you guys going?
Well, which is closer?
The camp by a considerable distance. The
Then
camp is
the
all
camp,
like
right?
10 minutes. Wakefield's like an
Somewhere.
8-hour walk from where you're at now.
Yeah, I mean, we were headed to the camp, so might as well, right?
Okay. So, the 5 of you head out towards the camp, up the hill. Eventually, you make it to the top, and as soon as you do, you're greeted by armed guards.
Good evening.
Who are you all? Where did you come from? They look at you in basically your nakedness.
Yep.
Reeve's fully dressed, but he's like a little away from these folk at this point.
Same with Scotty, since I'm normal sized.
And what do you want?
We came here for shelter from the weather, as I, just point towards the rain.
The guard looks at you incredulously, like, we don't shelter peasants. Be off with you.
Reeve gestures towards Scotty and himself. We're both hunters, able bodies with a bow and arrow. Could be of use, possibly.
We don't need hunters. We have supplies.
Never hurts to have more.
The rock that Lufer gave me, I will break in my, my hands are tucked within my cloak and all that. I will break the rock within and take the influence. I'm not a peasant, first off.
He looks at you, he's like, you're a bit of a freak of a tall peasant if you ask me. The other man laughs, he's like, I've never seen a nobleman quite so bare.
I didn't know guards talk too much either. Are they holding torches? Zach?
No, because
Torches
nothing
nearby?
torches won't even stay lit in this condition.
Hey, who knows, right?
There's lanterns that are posted up on some spots next to them. But they're both armed, swords in hand. Well, hands resting on their sword hilts.
You say that'd be close enough for my harbinger? Those lanterns.
To like put them out, or
It's just an instinct thing that Harbinger of the Abyss does. Puts out any flames nearby, or tries to.
I'd say yeah.
Yeah, presence of mundane fire.
Yeah, I'd say that right about now, both of the lanterns kind of go out. It doesn't cancel all the light.
I would need to roll for it, but yeah.
Yeah, you could easily do it. Keeping in mind that it doesn't cancel out all the light in the area. There's literally tents right behind that have pretty well lit from lanterns that are inside there.
What is the difficulty of this fire?
They're small lanterns, so 6 is fine.
6.
Okay, so yeah, you're able to put out the 2 lanterns here, but again,
It just
it's
goes
not
out.
that dark. Yeah, those 2 go out, but
Randomly.
nothing else.
Ulfr sucks in a breath through his teeth. Just grabs Val by the shoulder. What was that?
I look at the lantern as well when they went out.
One of the guards glances up and he's like, "Ah, God, not again." He whistles. He gives a loud, shrill whistle, and another guard comes out from a tent. He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Lanterns are out. Can you light them?" He's like, "Yeah, sure." He takes one in hand, pulls it down from the hanger that it's on, takes it into the tent while you're all talking.
Ulfr just bends down a little bit and says something in Val's ear.
Yes, we came southwards when we were attacked by a beast.
And it stripped you bare.
Apologize for this.
Ulfr just steps forward to stare at them, just stepping into the radius of the light. What do you think?
I think you're all quite a bit drunk. And I think it's best that you leave.
Influence isn't working?
Not in this particular set of circumstances, no. These 2 guards seem thoroughly just bewildered that anyone would show up half naked with a poor hand crafted story of just implausible nature. A beast attacked. They're clearly not buying anything that's being sold to them here.
Whose party is this? As a,
For a noble, you sure seem to have a hard time recognizing the Knights of Sandal Castle.
I know the place. I'm asking who is leading you guys.
They look at each other, just confused by that question. It's Lord Montgomery.
Are they lying to me?
Make a roll for it.
I have
Nope.
Oh, that's right.
It's just like a strange taste in my mouth. Saltiness. Nope. Okay. Montgomery. If he is a noble house, I'm sure he will want to speak to us because of this.
You'll have them whipped for denying you anyway.
Could. Alright. Val looking into this guy, one of the guard's eyes, I'm like, we do need to see your lord. Really need to speak to him. While I'm looking at him, that strange sensation, I'm guessing, of wanting to command him to let us in.
Make a roll for it.
What role you want? The actual command?
Yeah.
What's his willpower?
His willpower's 5.
5?
With a resounding level of force, all of a sudden the man seems to change his demeanor subtly, but very decisively. He's like, "Alright, fine." The other guard looks at him like, "The hell did you just agree to?" He's like, "This way, but no funny business. You act strange, and I'll have your head." The other guard just looks at him like, "You're really gonna lead him in." He turns around and begins to walk.
I look over at Ulfr and the other party members I have, and walk in.
Ulfr shrugs. He was expecting something like this to happen.
Scotty's impressed. He goes, "Ooh." She kind of just shakes her head.
She.
Yep.
She. Hey, damn it.
You'll get used to it. So, the knight eventually leads you to a
The
rather
knight?
larger tent.
This guy's a knight?
Lol.
The soldier. Correction.
Okay. That would have made a considerable difference.
The soldier leads you all to a larger tent. It's not the largest one present, but it's pretty sizable. He's greeted by another soldier there guarding the front of the tent. He nods. He's like, they're here to see Lord Montgomery. Guard pulls back a tent flap and allows you all to enter. The soldier enters first and stands off to the side.
How many lanterns would you say I got in contact to while walking through here? This entire camp. Should I just make one base roll?
Yeah. Another 2 go out as you walk by them. Inside this tent, there's a number of candles that are lit. One of them does go out right as the flap opens and you enter. Nothing that stands out too suspiciously yet.
And that, something to think about.
Mm-hmm.
The soldier that entered announces to the Lord Montgomery, you have requested visitors. A man who claims to be a noble. He pauses and looks him up and down, though he's certainly not dressed the part. And that's when he looks at Ulfr and he's like, his eyes go wide and he's like, and his party that followed suit, what should you have me do with them? And he just looks at the ground, trying to not look at what is ever so delightfully wrong with Ulfr's face. The Lord happened to be looking down at his table and looks up and his eyes equally go wide. He's like,
once he looks up, I do a nice little bow with charisma etiquette.
Strangely, Ulfr follows smoothly.
The Lord composes himself. Yes, I'm Lord Montgomery. It's a pleasure. Who might you be?
It's a pleasure. You may call me Alfonso. I am from Spain.
I see. Is your friend all right?
We were attacked by sort of beast out.
I can see that your friend took the brunt of that assault, it appears.
Yes.
Do you need medical attention?
I'll live.
I
Obliged by your offer.
Very well. And what is it that you need, Alfonso?
Yes, I apologize for entering your camp, especially late at night. Just once we were attacked, the weather got real bad. We needed a place to stay.
Of course. I suppose I can have my men set up a tent for you to reside in.
I very much appreciate that. Me and all my associates.
I unfortunately don't have any clothing to fit you all, but I suppose, are you by any chance at least able to pay for the tent? We'll be leaving in the morning, and I'm not opposed to letting you have it, of course. I just require payment for my supplies.
Ulfr nudges Val for, this is the other stone.
And how much these tents, or this tent, you will lend us?
The Lord strokes his chin. We'll say a shilling should cover it just fine.
Once he says this, I do break another rock in the cloak, have resources, and
magically there seems to be a shilling and a couple pennies.
How much is one resource? Would that be enough?
That's no, that's 2 resources.
A shilling is 2?
It's always 2. No, it's 2 dots.
Okay, 2 resources. So, how much would that be in shillings and such?
Undecided at the moment. You have enough.
Okay. Good nature. I will give him 2 shillings. I'm sure I have enough of that, right?
He's like, if you'd like, I have some spare clothes myself that I've got. I don't know if I can clothe some of your friends, but I can at least offer you something that's more appropriate for yourself.
If you don't mind, I appreciate that.
Certainly, for the extra shilling, that should be more than suffice. He instructs his soldiers to begin setting up a tent for you all, and personally gives you some of his own attire that he had in a chest.
And food too, my lord.
Of course. I'll have the food brought to your tent once it's done.
Thank you again.
Of course. What brings you to England?
Personal quest. I have heard that My sister may have came here from the mainland.
I see. Well, I certainly hope that you're able to find her. Family is important.
When he says that, and just thinking that if we went 400 years into the future, he just looks down a bit. Yes. Say, it might be the rain or something, affecting me, but do you know the date, if I don't mind asking?
Ah, certainly. It's the year of our Lord 1600, January the 3rd.
I just do a slight, glance over at Lufer.
He just makes one of those just sound of extreme displeasures deep in his chest.
Hey, I know that sound.
Thank you again for your hospitality.
Of course, of course. The tent's set up fairly quickly. It's almost like trained soldiers know how to set up tents. They offer you a handful of bedrolls and try to dry out the ground where they put it. It was obviously raining right there shortly beforehand, but they got you a section that wasn't too muddy.
I thank the soldiers and all that.
They have a hard time not staring at Ulcer.
Both
Ulcer's
me-
face is
both me and him are, extremely tall. I'm extremely pale.
Ulfer
yeah.
thinks they're staring for the reason everyone's been staring his whole life and not, the meat flaps he calls a face.
Yeah, he's definitely got some meat curtains going on.
Yeah. Oh.
Is that what we're calling them now?
Oh no.
Everybody hated that.
Can we not? Yeah.
Oh man.
Someone, this one does not spark joy.
I couldn't help that one, sorry. But yeah, the soldiers bring you food promptly, and they bring it on a couple of trays with some wooden bowls and spoons and set it down on a small table, and they bow and they leave
Guessing
you
they
to
have
it.
lanterns and such set up, right?
Yeah,
Oh, doesn't go out.
they bring you
That's
a lantern to kind of put in the middle to light up the tent that you're in.
And once they turn around or something, they would probably see, or not. The group will probably see looks like shadows itself was trying to put out these flames, but nothing happened.
Gotta lift some weights before we put out those fires. Yeah,
Just
you're
diving
all
into the food.
alone, and
How do I feel looking at these food?
you look at the food and you have the initial rush of finally some good food around here.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like potatoes with a little bit of bread on the side that's been dipped into it, like a potatoey broth, if anything. Not a ton of substance, but definitely something that still tastes good, especially when you haven't eaten in 400 years.
Allegedly.
Allegedly 400 years. And how many of you possess the eat food merit?
I was gonna ask if I feel hungry looking at it.
Oh, the immediate feeling that you have at first is hunger. You're like, oh my god, yes, food. It's, however, when you put the first bite into your mouth, that all of you,
Blech.
without a single exclusion, projectile vomit.
Projectile blood. Right?
The food in your mouth and a bit of blood.
What is this?
And
It's
worst of
disgusting.
all, you taste ash in your mouth.
Is he trying to poison us? What is this?
I don't believe he's trying to poison us. Why would he?
I should drag him back in here and make him eat it. Food isn't fit for pigs.
I look amongst the group, seeing we all had the same exact reaction.
Does anyone have hearth wisdom?
I have 2 dots of it.
I do as well.
Okay. If you'd like to give me an intelligence and hearth wisdom roll, difficulty of, we'll go with 7.
Oh, I actually only have 1 dot. Sadness. That roll.
If only you had specialties in it.
That's big Ulfer
3 dots.
energy.
God.
Difficulty is 7, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I only got 1.
Don't
5
look at
and
my roll. My roll is not right. 'cause I don't know what the heck is happening, but
Oh, it's not right. Oh, that's animal whisper.
Yeah, exactly.
You whispering
I was
animals
like-
over here?
I was like, damn, 5 successes.
You still had 5 out of what? If that's your intelligence.
No, my intelligence is 2, so take the first 3 rolls, I guess. But I think it doesn't. Oh shit.
Yeah, that's fine. You both immediately think to yourselves, it couldn't have been poison. No poison works that fast. No poison works the second it touches your tongue and causes you to vomit.
And tastes like ash.
Yeah, and tastes like ash too.
You know, potato and ash stew would do all of those things.
I don't think it was poisoned.
I agree with them.
I have a question for you all, and I lower my voice.
How about questions?
Well, I mean, it may be more of an answer. How did the blood taste?
Disgusting.
Oh, it tasted foul.
It tasted better than
It was
ashes.
like, it was better than the ashes. It tastes like,
And I also had living blood, so I may not have the same experience as them in that regard.
oh yeah, you did not have the same experience. Yours was delicious. The others, it was fulfilling but unpleasant.
But better than food we just ate.
Yeah, like you'd eaten like an overly ripened fruit. Tolerable, and as hungry as you were, great, because we all know hunger is just the finest of spices.
Wolford chalks it up to madness. Temporary madness. He's not going to make the leap that, hey, this food is terrible, we must be vampires.
No, I'm not going on that leap. I'm just like adding all these things together and then just staying quiet. Did your shadow always do that? Pointing at Val.
He just pauses a minute, just looking at the lantern. Not that I know of.
I mean, this doesn't get me anywhere close to answers, but it does tell me that there's something very wrong, and if it was any other time, I'd just say we were under some sort of witchcraft. But
When he says this, I look back at Uther and remember what he said. Cursed. Cursed.
This is wrong.
What?
I can only assume something that happened 400 years ago at this rate.
Val is just quiet now, just thinking about if it is 400 years, search for his sisters. Not. Is it worth it still? Probably not. Does he know?
I'm going to sleep. Madness is bound to end sometime. And, Wolford just rolls up into his muddy bedroll and just lies there for a while.
You don't feel the call of sleep, Ulfur. When you lay down, you have energy, boundless energy. Doesn't seem to end.
Anyone else still awake?
Yeah.
All of
I think
you.
all of us are awake. Yeah.
Very
We all lay in our beds.
What?
like a bunch of
what
kids
time
at a
did you say it
sleepover.
was?
Right?
Yeah, right now, it'll probably be what, like 11:30, 12 o'clock, you would say?
Oh, I'm specifically asking Scotty, who seemed to know
At this
on the
point,
dot.
it's probably about 1. You're all laying there. It's definitely like a late 90s kid sleepover. You're all just like, you asleep yet?
No, Val was just like sitting up, like just sitting against the tent and just like listening to the rain while just thinking.
Pitter patter of the rain is at least a comforting sound against the tent.
And I'm guessing we have like a small little fire in the middle to keep us warm, as I put in quotation mark.
Tent's not quite that large. Tent's
Okay.
large enough for you all to fit in there, but not enough for you and the fire. There is the lantern that's providing a soft light in the middle of the room, but other than that, not much.
Not anymore.
And it goes out. You can still hear the chitter chatter and talking amongst soldiers infrequently as they walk by.
I like to listen in, see if any of them like make a comment about us.
Yeah, a couple of them are talking. They're just like, did you see that guy's face? Yeah, the one with the noble? He's just got chunks of skin hanging off of it.
Like meat flaps.
Another guy's like, they claimed a beast attacked them. Another guy's like, I would hate to meet anything that can do that to a face. Guy's like, yeah, I don't even think there's anything in England that does that. Like what, like a rabid dog? that 5 full-grown adults couldn't handle? I don't know. It seems weird.
How about bears, you weirdos? Bears.
How many bears are in England?
Yeah, brown bears.
Lots of them.
Also, Zach, when I did command that guard, what did it feel like exactly?
It felt like an exertion of your inner desires just being brought forth, like a sheer, like almost like a blood rush of like determination. Eventually, time does pass, and the morning does start to come. You can just see it just ever so slightly get just barely a little less dark out. And the rain does tend to lessen a bit.
At the sight of sunrise, Ulfr just resigned, gets out of his bedroll and, steps out of the tent ready to face the day.
You step out from the tent and you see the sky in the east begin to redden. The rain is still present. It's been a pretty rainy day, but it's only mild. You can still hear the distant rolling of thunder, but it's only drizzling at this point. However, seeing the red sky, you feel your heart beat almost, as it were. Not quite, something different. A panic overcomes you. I need a courage roll.
Well, that's weird.
It's gonna be a difficulty of 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, stand in that sun. Willy-nilly.
Oh, that was a 1 success for the rest of y'all.
You calm yourself, but you feel a driving force, a demanding force that begs you to go back inside that tent.
Val, come here.
Val stands up from his spot, walk towards the end.
Do you feel that, little brother? Something strange.
Are you still outside, right?
Yeah, just standing there, staring at the creepy sunrise.
I'm failing this. I hope you guys kill me.
This is it. This is the last one.
Yeah. I open up the tent and look over at the sunrise.
I need you all to make a courage roll.
Hey.
Oh no, not all of us.
How about 2 success?
What
Oh,
difficulty?
thank you. 8.
Difficulty of 8.
Oh, 1 success.
Oh,
Thank God.
When it counts, we survive.
All of you feel the same panic and fear right at that moment. You all still yourselves, but you all feel like you should hide inside the tent and not come out.
See it in your face. What's happening?
I wrap up in my bedroll.
Wow.
I follow my instincts in this one.
Yeah, Hunter always follows her gut, so I would have to do the same.
feel that fear of the sun, sky, light.
It's as though we've died and risen as Draugr. What do we tell the noble? Ulfr heads back inside, by the way.
Yeah, I
I figured as much.
close the tent up and go back over to my corner and just think for a bit. It's like, can we tell him that we're from Sherfield 400 years ago?
From inside his own tent, he'll want it back.
I mean, you all bought the tent from him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
we did.
bought it. I was about to like, they're leaving, and we paid for the tent, or you did.
Yeah, give me the tent.
Did buy this tent, but what would happen if he or someone enters in and wants to speak to us or something? That feeling I got looking over at sun, I didn't like it. Did any of you?
Yeah, no, felt dangerous.
Something tells me we should leave it alone.
Must be the curse.
Curse. Bleh.
You know of any curse that will do this to us? Folklore, anything? Val looks between everyone.
I don't know, Zach, does one Hearth Wisdom give me anything?
Creatures that are dead, usually.
Does 2 Hearth Wisdom give us anything more?
Affirms people dead.
Right? Some people need to be really dead.
Some really dead people have these problems. You can make an intelligence and heart's wisdom roll.
Zach, I'm gonna say I have
Difficulty.
If I don't mention it, it's gonna be 6.
All right, I'll try to keep with that in mind.
All right, so Zach, I do have. I will mention 3 in a cold, but it will be in something completely else of kindred related. Probably like just witchcraft or something.
Okay.
Jewelry.
So, Reeve, you do remember hearing some old wives' tales about how it's one of those kinds of stories of how the dead fear the sun. So, that is one lead that you are actually dead.
Do we know about
Yeah.
pulses or anything like that?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so.
The most you know is, you may not know about like what a pulse is or have the terms for that kind of thing, but you would at least know like, oh man, my heart's beating fast. Like you know what that is.
Right. But I guess no beating heart would be different, wouldn't it?
Zach,
Yes,
since it was
would be.
cold and all that, do I notice any of us breathing?
Ooh.
Well, make a perception and alertness roll. It's a difficulty of 7.
Among my people, we have a
Not
legend.
one of you is drawn a breath.
Because I'm sure it's like cold enough since rain and all that. You would visibly see someone breathing, right?
Yeah.
Or their breath.
It's cold. It's cold enough at this point in January in the northern parts of England.
Yeah.
At night, yeah, you would definitely be like you can see the breath on everyone else, but it's one of those things like you don't think about unless you're looking for it.
I'll let Woofer continue his thing.
There is a sorcerer. His name is Glamir. He corrals the dead and wakens them from their sleep. And when they rise, they breathe no more.
When he says
And
that,
they look upon the world, their skin blue. You look awfully blue, little brother.
and have you all noticed something?
I can't sleep. I've
Not-
noticed that.
Not only that, but I don't see your breath. Any of yours.
Scotty kind of tries to remember when she was like running to the group. I don't think it took that much time for them to go away, but I had no reason to breathe or anything, did I?
Nope. Not something you even think about normally anyway, so it does dawn on you. You didn't have to breathe at all, and you weren't tired when you got up to them.
Thinking about it now, I don't believe I was breathing when I had to run to you. What is going on?
You're losing your mind. That's what.
To demonstrate, of course, Ulfer, breathes out and, a breath that doesn't cloud the air.
And it doesn't.
You're not making any sense.
And does Ulfric breathe back in?
I mean, yeah, he's just breathing.
How
Why
long would you
breathe
say you'd be able to
easily?
hold your breath? As a hunter, I could hold mine steady and calm, but it usually requires techniques. This just happens so easily that I do not understand. I feel like I could hold my breath for forever.
Yeah, that's not normal.
Val is, being in his bedroll and all that, it's supposed to keep him warm and all that, but always cold. Touches his hand and it's just extremely cold. Feel any warmer in here. Curse the weather, I guess. But
I don't either, and I'm still hungry.
since the sun is coming up, Zach, would you say we're getting tired?
You start to feel the call and lull to sleep. It's pretty powerful. For those who wish to stay awake, you can, but you'll have to make a roll for it.
Scotty just kind of goes, I'm going to go back to bed. I finally feel sleepy. We'll discuss this in the morning, I suggest.
Well, the old morning.
Or the new one. Good night, or good day. As Reese rolls over himself, pulling the bedroll as high as he can over his head.
Scotty, following his instincts, she's going to kind of take her bedroll.
Oliver's got 2 bedrolls to fit him.
One for each arm.
I'm covered now.
I think both me and Uber have very large bedrolls.
I mean, I'm tall for this day and age, but not that tall for this day and age.
Yeah,
Mouse
like,
curled up like a Cabbage Patch doll in a womb.
I'm above.
Like
That's
he's
a
fit.
horrible description. Cabbage
about it.
kid in a womb.
Val just looks over at Uber and like, let's get some sleep in. Hopefully this madness will go away.
Scotty,
Like looking at him, hopefully that it will go away.
right. Scotty is going to try to stay awake, but only for an experiment's sake. So whatever roll you need me to roll, let me know.
That is going to be self-control.
Self-control.
So goes to sleep.
Nope. I'm asleep.
Yeah.
Something controls my sleep. I cannot stay awake. This is unheard.
Within seconds, you're just done.
Damn it.
The next thing that you all know, none of you dream. It's very, very, very still. And as you wake up, you don't hear anything outside. You do see each other fairly clearly. It doesn't seem like there's any storming at this point going on. You all wake up.
Val gets out of his bedroll and just feels hungrier.
Going
Yeah.
to. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna go over towards the entrance of the tent and peek out.
It's kind of crouching down to avoid, disassembling the tent with my head.
Yep. Do I see anything when I peek out, Zach?
No, you see a completely cleared out area. There's some obvious fires that were lit and stuff like that that have been burnt out and smothered. The obvious remains of a campsite, but it looks like they've packed up everything and left.
I turn towards everyone. It's clear. Nothing's left, it seems.
How is it none of us noticed this?
They said they would leave, and the tent was ours, so I assume they just went their merry way.
Val, step outside, and is the moon out, Zach, or is it still cloudy?
No, the moon is out. It's not a full
What's-
moon, it's a half moon.
Once he steps out, you all see that his skin is bluish, as Ufer mentioned yesterday.
It seems like physically you and your brother are the ones who got the short end of the stick. Or the weird end.
Ulfr just full out stops and turns to glare at Reeves. What did you say to me?
You've got meat flaps on your face. And he's blue.
I'll make meat flaps out of your face.
I don't doubt you. Not one bit. I'm just as confused as you are.
What's confusing is that this nightmare hasn't ended.
I don't think it will anytime soon.
I hate this place.
I hate it here too.
Well,
So-
if this is a dream, it has a sucky start.
And if it is a joke, someone has a poor sense of humor. So, since we've already been doing it, I think subconsciously, Val, you have plans. Where to?
They said Wakefield is about 8 hours, correct?
From
the
where you're
closest?
at, it's probably close to about 6 to 7 hours.
We have no idea what's going on. He also looks at the tent. Make sure we take that with us as well.
Would that be a survival check to disassemble?
Yeah.
We'll make it a Boy Scout skill instead of an architectural skill. Okay.
You got 2 points in it.
I've
I
got
do.
3.
Great. You can just do it. You don't even have to roll for it. You just
Yay. I
Yeah.
help him.
yep.
Should follow,
It's super easy.
follow
Hey,
the
Cindy.
noble.
Well, I guess we're gonna follow you two brothers. Is there any problem with that? I don't want to step on toes.
We have no idea what's happening, so I think it'd be best to stay together.
We woke as a group. I suggest not dismembering the group just yet. All of us are feeling the same thing.
Don't tell me which.
I am no witch. I am a man.
I wasn't gonna say anything, but from the Stone Act last night to the Nun Act I've seen from the red-haired lady, it seems more like witchcraft what you guys do than what she did. She shot someone with a bow and arrow. I can understand that. I can't understand rocks. Blood, rocks, and apparently magically appearing money.
Maybe if I feed you enough of them, you'll get it.
I don't want to. But what I'm saying is, I don't think it's her problem. I don't think it's her fault, rather. It is her problem, it's our problem, and it's all of ours problems.
Follow the noble. Ride his coattails.
Yeah, more like, I'm a very simple man, and I don't plan on dying tonight.
Not you.
Ulfar looks at Val.
Do it like Oxford. Easy money.
Yes. Sherfield was south of us. Let's go to Wakefield first. Sandal Castle is where that nobleman stays, correct?
Sure. Where the knights are from.
Yeah.
You sure?
Oxford does sound nice. Anything down south sounds nice. I do not want to go anywhere close. Is it Scotland? Was it called in the 1200s, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to mess with anything up north, technically.
Fine.
Do either of you know how to ride a horse? Or any of you?
To which Ulfar, retorts with a withering look.
I bring it up because
It's the
at the end of the issue,
1200s. Everyone knows at least how to ride a horse.
I know only the basics.
well, if we can acquire those, maybe we can head south and not worry so much about whatever it is that happens during actual daytime. Because that didn't feel good, whatever it was.
Zach, up ahead of us, is it just a plain field or is it like trees and all that?
There's small copses of trees here and there spotting throughout the area, but nothing heavy forested. A number of paths and roads that have been worn in from trade and stuff like that.
I look over at Scotty and said, didn't feel tired when you ran yesterday.
Correct. When I ran, I need no breath. I need no time. Catching up to you was more simple matter than I thought.
Since Wakefield is that way, Val would just look over at Ufer, just give him like a slight nod, and just he runs off, seeing if what he said is or what Scotty said is true. See if he gets tired.
Yeah, Ulfar follows immediately.
And
As you're running,
Might as
you
well
don't
too.
feel a need to draw breaths, and usually that kind of thing is pretty apparent very quickly, like when you have to breathe. You don't at all.
I was just like a little pacing a bit, and then seeing that Val just full on sprints. He doesn't run fast, but
Still nothing. No gasp for air, nothing.
This seems very useful for hunting.
I agree. With a fight, I can always swing my axe with ever needing a breather.
after like 30 minutes or so, Val would stop running look over at everyone else, see if they're all feeling the same. Not needing to breathe, not tired, anything.
No one looks exhausted at all.
So, one, none of us seem to be under the influence of the disease anymore, because definitely couldn't do that. Two, I feel better than I was when I was in my prime.
And after 30 minutes of that running, Zach, is it still the same area, like plain fields, small woods?
For the most part, yeah.
Guess it would be faster to go to Wakefield this way.
It's strange, is what it is.
Yes. That goes back to a sprint.
Yeah, I pretty much follow foot.
Remember what Ulfer said about it's kind of weird? Do you think if we see people, we should stop or pull aside so that they don't notice us running at a full sprint with no pause?
Common sense says you would just slow down.
And slow down.
Yep.
Yeah,
Wait
common
till
sense.
to pass by and then to keep running.
All right, I'm for it. I want us all to have a plan, not just one person flailing.
Maybe we can do a lot like those videos where someone just runs out of a corner and then everyone else just starts running. Maybe we'll have something like that happen.
Out of character, are you trying to create like hardcore parkour videos in the 1600s?
Right.
Dear Lord. Back
But
to the
no,
point.
I would slow down. As a hunter and things, staying and stalking and whatever.
While running, I'll be speaking like, let's find horses and go south. As I said, closer we go to Scotland, more anxious I get, I guess.
We're headed north.
I know, but we can get horses, hopefully, over here.
We are not moving faster than horses, right? Just making sure that our full-on sprint is not that fast.
Some people might.
No. As it stands, no. Though under this concept, you could outlast a horse. But no, it's definitely still got a higher top speed than you and general speed.
All right.
Yeah. While running like this, of course, slowing down if we do see people. Speeding up to Wakefield. How long does that take instead of the 6-7 hours?
You all followed the main road, and it only takes you about half the time. After about 3 hours, you come up around a hillside, and you see off in the distance a castle, as well as what you can safely assume is Wakefield, slightly further in the distance, slightly downhill from there. The fields, it's definitely a farming town. It's a village. It's literally fields as far as the eye can see. The first thing that you notice, though, is that those fields extend all the way near to where you're at now, almost within shouting distance. Pretty massive farming endeavor in this area. A lot of farmland. But considering the size of the number of dead that you saw and the regiment that was still alive, you would assume that there's definitely a need to feed soldiers.
Not quite remembering it myself. Did cities used to be this big?
Some, yes. But
Did
very
cities
few.
used to be this big?
Seeing the castle from this distance, can we see if it's being occupied like right now? Like, do I see large soldiers, mounted soldiers from my place?
From how far you are, not quite, but I mean, you can see people very barely in front of the castle, just milling about and moving. They're practically specks in the distance, but you can see the general movement going on.
Looking around the group, everyone has some form of dress besides Ulfric right now. Ulfric.
He's got clothes on. It is,
He has
Not the
fabric
best.
on.
Yeah.
And what if fabric is, if not clothes? What is clothes if not fabric? There we go. Words are hard.
Our first order of business, unless Val has something. Get Ulfr over here some actual clothing so that we get less looks. I don't think we'll be able to avoid them completely, but less. And find some place to actually hold up rather than just a tent.
Find someone to fix that face.
This is a show around here somewhere, right? I sense it.
What'd you say about my face?
It's charming and it brings all the girls to the yard.
Damn
And
right.
us.
It's all those handles, right?
No. No. Stop.
I look over at everyone. You guys have a suggestion that you guys want to go to? I point, gesture towards the castle, or the little village, farming village.
At least until we get better dressed, because it seemed to be something of issue last time we tried to go to anywhere military. I think the town's a better idea. But then again, I don't know what you did to get us into the encampment last time, so what do I know?
Nothing.
You have an opinion, Scotty?
I've got
village or-
no opinion. Scotty will just go.
I look over at everyone. Just give it like a sigh, even though nothing really comes out of it, and then he just walks towards Wakefield. See what the name was called again.
Okay. You guys eventually make it to Wakefield. The town's still a little active. You can hear the faint clanging of an anvil. There's clearly a blacksmith working, even at this hour, probably meeting quotas for weapons.
Out of character, this is not where we wish to settle, right? We wish to go.
Nope. We want to go down south.
Are you sure?
Yep.
I just made sure.
They do it like Dover. Find the right one. Find the right man. Get the horses. Leave.
I agree. Go over towards, you said we hear clanging from blacksmith and all that?
Yeah.
It's a blacksmith. There's bound to be a farrier.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe just tell him.
I go into the blacksmith area where I hear the
Okay.
clanging and all that.
You head over to the blacksmith's shop. The clanging obviously gets louder as you draw closer.
And I'm guessing there's torches or lanterns and all that out in this city, right?
Yeah.
City, town. Would it still be default for these? Or soak?
For what?
The soak of the torches and all that. Whenever I walk by,
Oh.
flames,
yeah.
I just want to do one massive roll.
And you put out the forge.
Oh, the forge would probably be like a 9 or something.
Yeah, the forge is still good. But
I
one
was
of
just
the
saying,
candles
that'd be
goes out
hilarious.
as you enter the threshold of the main part of the shop. One candle does go out.
Yeah, I just noticed that and just shake my head a bit, and then go over towards the blacksmith or whoever there.
Okay. So you enter and you approach. You can see several. There's a couple of people that are already aiding the blacksmith. You'd assume probably apprentices of some fashion, and possibly even in different degrees of study. The smith himself stops and looks, and he's like, "Evening. What can I do for you?" As he looks up at you.
I give him a slight bow. I'm like, "Evening. I apologize for disturbing you in this evening. I was wondering if there's a place here that sells horses."
Oh, yeah. He motions out the door and slightly further north. He's like, there is a stable master just down the road. I don't know if he's going to have any available for sale, but you can always try.
Of course. Thank you.
Of course.
And I'll walk out and just gesture towards north.
We could always steal a horse, but you wish to buy one.
It's not a steal just yet. Don't want law enforcement's chasing us. As I just look over at the castle.
That would be a problem.
Sounds more like fun to me.
Yep.
Here's the noble, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you all make your way to the stable master's home. The lights, there's no lantern or anything lit, but you can clearly make out that this is their home. The large shed, there's a number of horses that you can hear.
Ooh. I kind of head to the horses.
So you hop over the fence.
No, I
I
tried
got you.
calling one.
No horses come.
They hate you.
They shouldn't. I have critter.
Pretty sure it's just because they're all tied up.
Oh, balls.
Yeah, I go over to stable master, the house, barn area.
Yeah, you guys are already, like I said, you're already in front of the house. They're clearly
Oh,
not
okay.
awake.
I knock on the door.
After what feels like a few moments, someone eventually comes and answers the door.
Good evening.
Kind of an older man answers it. Hello?
Good evening. I'm guessing the stable master.
Yes, I am.
Yes, I apologize for awakening you in your evening's rest. I wondering if we can buy some horses off you.
I do have some for sale. How many do you require?
Look over at everyone. It's 5 of us, so 3.
3 horses. Yes, I can provide you with 3 horses.
Appreciate that. And how much would that be?
Let's see. I'll go with say a shilling apiece.
All right. And from those the runes that you made, Franco, are they temporary resources or?
One interaction.
Okay, so I'll form a. I'm guessing you gave me, or I have a couple of them, so I'll just.
No,
Nope. I look over at everyone. Then.
you have. Well, I sent you what you had.
Yep. Oh, that's what you get.
Yep.
Gotcha. I look over at everyone. Is that good enough? 3 shillings.
I have a single shilling if you need it, but I don't know how much you have. It sounds like you have it settled, so.
Well, 3 shillings. I am wearing Lord Montgomery's clothing, correct?
Yes, you are.
And I'm guessing it has a symbol on it, or the symbol of the castle.
Yeah.
Well, you see, friend, I believe Lord Montgomery wishes to have a few of these horses ready.
If the Lord wishes it, I don't have any horses ready for combat. These are
3.
simply workhorses.
Those will do. His task is not for war.
That's fine, but the Lord still needs to pay.
And sure, you can go ask him, correct? For your payment?
Yes, but it will have to wait till the morning.
He's in dire need of them right now.
Do you have an official statement from the Lord?
He trying to get that feeling again, Zach, of of commanding him.
Yeah.
Of like he really needs these horses right now, my friend. I too.
Okay. He's like, well, yeah, I suppose I could make the exception. I'll head to the Lord tomorrow and collect the money then. Please, I'll meet you on the outside. And he motions to the side of the fence.
Gesture towards everyone over there.
Shuts the door, and eventually he comes out, more dressed. Opens up the lock to the fence and allows you all to follow him into the stables, where he starts to saddle up 3 horses.
What was that?
Talk later about that. Saddles them up, and since we have 5 people, we can load. You know, 2 on 2 of them, 1 on 1. I'm guessing. Let's have, since Scotty's carrying the tent, correct?
Yes.
Onto 1.
Or we could try to find a carriage, grab all of us.
Yeah, that's too much work now.
Wow. They don't matter.
Yep. Grab these horses and look over at the stable and I'm like, thank you. Really do appreciate it. So does Lord Montgomery.
Okay, so you all saddle up with 3 horses. Where are you headed now?
Away, I think.
Yep.
Gonna head south?
Yep.
Okay.
Stop for food.
So which giant did I end up getting saddled with, or am I just walking?
There's 2 for each horse, and then 1 solos. I want Scotty to go on solo mostly because she has the tent.
Why don't we just get 5 horses? Sure, he can be compelled to give us 5 horses.
Does he have 2 more in stock?
Oh yeah, he's got more horses.
If everyone wants their solo horses, go ahead and ask him. I already asked him for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure.
I mean, if there's no requests coming forth, then we're gonna move on.
When he said 3 horses, Ulfr would have just given Val a solid nudge.
All right, during that talk, then backtracked in Zach. For when he nudges me, I'm like, I guess 5 horses will work.
The man obliges and readies a 4th horse. Oh, you all saddle up. You head out, heading south.
Yep.
As you're riding, trying to make as best time as possible, because of course you won't make it to wherever you're headed, most likely, I would assume at least. Not that I know where you're headed, of course.
Of course.
But I feel like you probably won't make it before the sun rises.
Actually,
I don't know. Russia is pretty nice right now.
Wow.
actually,
You can make it to Russia?
ST, I have a question for you.
Sure.
Are our horses marked specifically horseshoes?
Are you asking if they're wearing marked horseshoes?
Yes. Horses way back when were sometimes, outfitted with special shoes that left very distinct mark to be tracked easily.
Oh. That. No.
Okay. Good. Duly noted. Makes it a bit easier.
But yes,
While riding.
you all ride south.
Mhm.
As an interesting turn of events, as you're riding south, passing the farms of Wakefield, off in the distance, a single crow flies above you and begins to fly ever so close to Ulfr.
That's a good sign. We're on the right path, little brother.
I look up at the crow, give him a slight nod. Continue riding down south. And after a bit of traveling, and I'm guessing when we let the horses rest a bit, find somewhere to let them drink, right?
You find a small stream nearby, yeah.
I'll go over to Ulfr. I'm like, back there, that horseman. It happened when I spoke to that guard as well, other night.
How'd you do it?
I don't know exactly. It's like I just wanted them to do what I said. It's like a portion that I made them do it. Seemed that they listened.
Let me try. How specifically did you do it?
Almost like a commanding type thing, just an order that I wanted them to follow.
Ulfr just kind of squints, looks a bit constipated, and growls.
Come here.
Sort of an eerie, hollow-sounding whisper.
You're saying come here?
Come here.
To the bird.
No, just in general. He's thinking something. You know, it's he's trying to emulate Val.
Nothing seems to come at first, but the raven does land. That's been following you for a little while. It lands on a log, fairly close to you.
Ulfr kind of just looks at the raven and at Val.
That's not what I was trying to do.
Is the raven just looking straight at Ulfr?
On and off. It's still curious and looking around, twisting its head and just examining things around it.
Wait, ravens don't usually do something like that, right? There's no like, this happens 1 in a million, or
It's a pretty rare occasion. For those who follow the gods of old, like Odin and Thor, it's considered a good sign.
Yeah, this is clearly one of Vodun's ravens. You know, you would know, Skadi.
One would hope.
right?
So, I think at that point, we'll call it here for session 0. You guys got a decent feel, I hope.
Sir, setting up the
Yeah,
tent.
absolutely.
Setting up the tent and getting ready to brave the day.
Always a good idea.
Making sure the horses don't wander off too far.
Right.
Yeah, let's hobble them or push them off a cliff.
I was thinking more like making them tie it off on a tree or something nearby so that they don't get murdered while we're...
I Spartan kick a horse off the cliff.
That'll do
do
it.
it.
That'll do it.
That would do it.
All right, but yeah, I'm hoping you all at least enjoyed it. Any questions about anything, or in that case, we will call the session here. I hope to see everyone who's watching this on YouTube. I hope to see you guys hang out with us on Twitch when we do the live stream for the games, starting session 1. That'll be on, what day is that day? That is the 19th. But yeah, hope to see you guys there. It'll be 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Am I forgetting anything else, guys?
Discord, come join us on Discord.
Like, subscribe.
I will have subscribe. That would always be nice. Like, I'm not used to doing that because we hardly ever do anything with our YouTube channel. But I'm trying to make the effort to do more diversified things, just in
Hit the
general.
bell. Yeah, hit the bell.
Merchandising.
Yeah, you could hit the bell, but I don't know
All
how
the comments
to,
say
you just
yes,
do it anyway.
bite the pillow.
Just do it anyway.
Big thanks
Maybe.
to our sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends.
Whoa.
There is no sponsor
whoa,
for Raid
whoa.
Shadow Legends, but we will absolutely shit on them because that is hilarious. Classics, honestly.
Wow.
But yeah, links for our Discord will be in the description. We also stream a bunch of stuff besides Vampire, and we just generally hang out and have a good time. But I hope to see you guys there. We will see you soon, hopefully. See ya.
Toodles.